Hi, I'm Rahel Philipose and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express News Show. In this episode, we talk about how a 15th century monument was demolished to build a new government official's bungalow. We also talk about India's first water body census and what it reveals. But first we talk about Uttar Pradesh. Last month, during the festival of Eid, many Muslim residents of the state took part in public assemblies to offer namaz. As per tradition, most of them offered their prayers in Eidgahs, which are designated places reserved for mass prayers, and some people also offered namaz on the streets. But now, hundreds of these people, those who offered namaz on the streets, are facing FIRs. In this segment, my colleague Anwiti Singh speaks to the Indian Express's Asad Rehman about the issue.
So, Asad, recently a number of FIRs have been registered against people offering namaz in public in Uttar Pradesh. Can you talk to us about why that happened?
Yes, so there have been 6 FIRs in 3 districts of Uttar Pradesh, and the FIRs have been lodged at different police stations with complaints from local policemen, alleging that people and mosque committees and Eidgah committees where Eid namaz is held were told in advance that they should not offer prayers on the streets. And despite that, the police says that at some mosques and Eidgahs in Kanpur, Hapur and Aligarh, people offered namaz on the streets, and that is why these 6 FIRs have been lodged. They've been lodged so far against unidentified people, and in some places they've been lodged against 250 to 300 unidentified people. In some places they've been lodged against 1,500 unidentified people. And police are saying that they are identifying those who offered namaz on the streets and are also looking at the role of the Eidgah committee members in these cities.
Okay, so you said that the police have filed these FIRs and not individuals or certain groups like we have seen in the case of Gurgaon, right? Where open namaz often gets disrupted.
That's right. A lot of times, local police stations take cognizance of incidents and they themselves lodge complaints. And here, no individual or no organization has come out against the namaz. And instead, policemen, local sub-inspectors and senior sub-inspectors have lodged complaints alleging that this created hindrance in their work while ensuring law and order in those areas. And that this offering of namaz was against the section CRPC 144, which is against assembly of people, and that it was in violation of section 144, and that is why the policemen have themselves gone ahead and lodged these complaints based on which these FIRs have been lodged.
Okay, and can you tell us why section 144 has been imposed? Because it is usually employed only in very specific situations.
So, Section 144 is in place in Uttar Pradesh since the murder on live television of gangster turned politician Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf Ahmed a few weeks ago. And since then, the Uttar Pradesh government had announced that Section 144, which prohibits assembly of people, is in place. And on the day of Eid, which was on April 22, the police and government had also made it clear that Section 144 is in place.
Right, and Asad, can you tell us which are some of the places where these FIRs have been filed?
So in Kanpur, 3 cases have been lodged. So these 3 areas have a sizable Muslim population, and these Eidgah mosques, Eidgahs, which are open areas where namaz on Eid is held. Because there was a lack of space in these open areas, people resorted to offering the namaz on the streets. Whereas the police, on the other hand, say that prior to Eid on April 22, conversations were held with local peace committees and Eidgah committee members saying that no one should offer namaz on the streets and that if it is done, it will face action. In Hapur, the case has been lodged in the district headquarters at the Hapur Nagar police station. In Aligarh, 2 cases have been lodged at different police stations.
Right, so the police had a conversation with the Eidgah committee members and local peace committees about offering namaz on the streets before Eid. So did these bodies say anything about why people still chose to offer namaz on the streets?
So we spoke to Maulana Sufyan Nizami on Friday evening, and asked him what is the significance of namaz being held in an assembly or a big group for Eid. He's explained that the Eid namaz, unlike other daily namaz which is done privately or individually, Eid namaz has to be a big congregation for Muslims as per the Islamic laws. And that is why it is seen that sometimes when there is a lack of space in an Eidgah or a mosque, people are obligated to offer it on the streets or on the roads outside these mosques. And he's also said that namaz is merely finished in less than 45 minutes and that there's been no hindrance in any work or anything as such because of this namaz that was held in different places on the streets. So he said that the government should not criminalize something like this, and that even if conversations were held from beforehand that namaz should not be done on the streets, if some people have done it, then Maulana Sufyan Nizami says that it should be overlooked by the government.
Okay, now that the police have filed the FIRs, do we know what kind of charges are being brought against these people?
So the police are saying that they are identifying the people who were offering namaz. Now in Kanpur, in one of the FIRs, 1,500 people have been made accused, unidentified people. Now police are saying that they are working towards identifying these people. They are going through CCTV footage and camera footage to see who were these people and that they will take action. One of the policemen who the Indian Express spoke to on Friday also said that they will start making arrests very soon. So the sections that have been invoked are for obstructing public servant from discharge of his duties, then disobedience to order by a public servant. Then there is a section for danger or obstruction in public way or line of navigation, since the roads are being blocked. Then there is also IPC section 341 for wrongful restraint. Then there is a section for 353, which is assault or criminal force to deter a public servant from discharge of their duty. So these are serious sections, and if the police does act on these cases, then we may see arrests in the coming days if they can identify who these people were.
Okay, and have any leaders or politicians from Uttar Pradesh reacted to this development?
Yes, Samajwadi Party's Member of Parliament S.T. Hassan, who's an MP from Moradabad, which also has a sizable Muslim population, has raised questions on these FIRs and this action taken, saying that the government and the police is criminalizing praying to God, and which he says that is going to result in our country becoming weaker. And he's also said that in the past, namaz for Eid and other such special occasions has been held on streets and roads, and that the past Hindu people have also helped out during namaz. And these questions have been raised by him, whereas the other senior the top leadership of the Samajwadi or any of the opposition parties have yet not reacted on these cases.
And next, we talk about the controversy surrounding the CEO of the Delhi Jal Board and his newly constructed official bungalow. Back in January 2021, New Delhi's Department of Archaeology had visited a 16th century monument located on the premises of the Delhi Jal Board or DJB.
The monument that we are talking about dates back to 15th century from a Pathan dynasty.
This is the Indian Express's Gayathri Mani who reported on the monument. And as Gayathri says, this monument, which was originally a palace, dates back to the 15th century when the Sayyid dynasty ruled Delhi. Now, when the Department of Archaeology visited the monument, they found it in a dilapidated condition and in need of renovation. And soon after that, they wrote a letter to the DJB seeking possession of the monument.
After that, what happened is that the Delhi Jal Board was also considering to hand over the possession to the Department of Archaeology. But when the Department of Archaeology visited the site again this year in January, it found that of the two structures, only one structure, which was the gateway, the entrance, was existed. But the main building, the area of the entire plot was 5,500 square meter. And the monument that was situated, that area is about 700 square meters. So it found that that main building was missing.
And in the place of this missing monument stood a brand new bungalow, constructed for the former DJB CEO, Udit Prakash Rai. This was to be his official residence. And the only thing remaining from the 15th century Mahal was its gateway. Gayathri, who visited the site where the monument used to be, tells us what she saw.
So I found that the house is located just adjacent to the Jal Vihar Delhi Transport Corporation's bus terminal. And the house was surrounded by the blue big shutters, which is usually installed on the construction site to cover the site and to control air pollution. So if any person is like crossing that area or that lane, they won't know that a big white color mansion exists inside that shutter. It looks like a construction site. So when I reached there, I thought that some construction is going on there. And interestingly, we also found that the boundary walls, which was like built with like strong bricks, which is usually you will find on the monument and the historical sites. So like that boundary wall was broken. And there, as I got a peek of that house, it was like so huge. It looked like not less than a palace. It was like in place of the old ancient mahal. It was like looked like a contemporary big mansion. If one wants to visit that remaining structure, the gateway, which is only there, they have to like walk about 3-4 kilometers, or like even if they go from a two-wheeler or car, it will take about 10-15 minutes. But it's like all the way behind that house.
Now, after discovering the new bungalow, the Delhi government's vigilance department issued a show-cause notice to Udit Prakash Rai. And according to the notice, Rai is not even entitled to a house like this.
Rai was entitled to only a Type 5 quarter because he was a pay level 12 officer. And the Type 5 quarters usually has an area with a size of just 145 square meter. And this mansion was like constructed on a size area of 700 square meters.
The notice also stated that Rai was the one responsible for demolishing a part of the structure and that he was aware of the fact that a historical monument existed at the site. Now, what's more interesting is that Rai was actually transferred to Mizoram this year, and only his family stays in the mansion now. In fact, Gayathri spoke to his wife when she visited the site.
She said these are just allegations and no such monuments or anything demolished by them or by the DJB to construct that bungalow. She said that they were allotted house there, and the new house which has been constructed on that site, she said that Purana DJB ka quarters tha, that was allotted to her husband Rai. And the walls and the terrace and other were collapsed or saamp वगैरह आते थे. So that's why they renovated. She said no new house has been constructed. The old DGB servant quarters was renovated, and that's the only. And she said these are allegations and we are also fighting against it.
And in the end, we talk about India's first water body census. Recently, the Ministry of Jal Shakti released the report of this water body census, which is a comprehensive database of different kinds of water bodies like ponds, tanks, lakes, and reservoirs in the country. The census was conducted between 2018 and 2019 and counted more than 2.4 million water bodies in the country. To know what the census says about the state of India's water bodies, my colleague Utsa Sarmin speaks to the Indian Express's Harikishan Sharma.
So, Hari, can you first tell us what was the aim of conducting this water body census?
So, water body census is unique, in which the investigators which were collecting information, their aim was to collect information of water bodies like ponds, lakes, tanks and reservoirs, and the other water bodies created through the various government schemes like NREGS and the other schemes, through which the government's focus is on conservation of water. So basically, the first ever water body census was aimed at getting information about all the water bodies which they could get and present it in a way that a common man can see what is the number of total water bodies in the country, in his state, in his district. So the data is available from district to the state to the national level.
And is gathering the number of water bodies in India the only reason for conducting this census?
So there was a need to conduct this census from two point of views. And there was a recommendation of a parliamentary standing committee in 2016, and the Lok Sabha's Committee on Water Resources, it recommended that the center should conduct a water body census along with the minor irrigation census. Another reason was there have been encroachment on water bodies. There have been reports also, and it has been highlighted by media on several occasions. So there was a need felt that first there should be a database which gives us an information about the situation of our water bodies. So with these reasons in mind, the government launched the water body census in 2018-19 along with the minor irrigation census. And the results were made public just few days back because it takes a lot of time to process the data and analyze the data.
Right, and now talking about the report, one thing we found out was that out of the 24 lakh water bodies, 60% are actually ponds. But could you talk about what the report reveals about state-wise data?
This is really interesting because I was surprised to find that West Bengal has the most water bodies, and people who have been to the state or who are living in the state, they tell us through their anecdotal experience that in front of their school or their village, there were several water bodies. But at that time, they would not realize that their state is the top state in terms of number of water bodies. So this census tells us that West Bengal has the most number of water bodies in the country, roughly accounting 1/4 of the water bodies. And there are 6 other states like UP, Odisha, Assam, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. And each of these states have over 1 lakh water bodies. And the lowest number of water bodies was recorded in Sikkim, only 134 water bodies. And there are 3 other state and union territories which have less than 1,000 water bodies, and these are Arunachal Pradesh, Delhi, and Chandigarh.
Right, and Hari mentioned earlier that encroachment of water bodies is a big issue and one of the main reasons for conducting this census. Now we understand the concept of forest and land encroachment, but can you explain to us how one encroaches on a water body?
Actually, what happens, say for instance, there is a pond and the pond gets dry up during summer. So somebody who is trying to encroach illegally that pond, they might block the inflow of that pond, which will get filled during the rainy season. So they block that inflow and then they encroach on the area that has been dried up. And then gradually, once the inflow is blocked, the pond will never get filled again to that level. Then they gradually keep encroaching, and one day you will find that there is no pond at all. So there have been several instances in rural as well as in urban areas where you will find that there used to be a water body, but nowadays it has been either encroached for agricultural purpose or for residential purpose. Buildings have come up on those ponds. And the census tells that 1.6% water bodies are encroached, and of these encroached, 95% are in rural areas and 5% are in urban areas. And if we talk about the absolute number, there are about 38,000 water bodies which have been encroached out of the 24 lakh water bodies across the country. And UP tops the list of the encroached water bodies. In the state, about 15,000 water bodies have been encroached, and it is followed by Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Interestingly, no encroachment of water bodies have been reported from 4 states like West Bengal, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Chandigarh.
You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and written and produced by Utsa, Sarmin, Shashank, Bhargav, Anwiti, Singh, and me, Rahel Philipose. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcast@indianexpress.com.